Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Citizen Sleeper. Let's get into our save game here. Okay, so we've got a decent amount of dice. We're actually starving as well. I don't know if... I can't remember what that does, so I might eat first. Just in case it affects our modifiers or anything, I can't quite remember what it does. I think perhaps if you've got no more energy to lose, you lose extra condition. But even so, we'll put into this now. Okay. Let's remind ourselves of what we kind of got on our plate at the moment. Got the sidereal thing here. We're not really doing that yet. I might start doing it though. It says it's dangerous. Alright, let's put in one. So we've got some money for it. That's good. It's going to take a long time to build this though. Maybe we'll just put into it every so often. Havenage offices. I actually have some Yatagan data to sell at the moment. I'm just wondering if it might be used for something more valuable later on at this point. The bar, I don't want to do any shifts just now, no boats in. Boats. No spaceships in. To buy from. Auto exchange, what's happening here? Sell components, play the exchange. Surgery, don't need that right now. Fabricator, that's for making ship mines. I need a couple more ship mine fragments. High stakes in the Tabla house. So we could probably, with our +1, guarantee that we'll get 24 cryo for this. But let's just hold off on that for now. The Warrens I'm probably still exploring. Got to find the nest. We could actually almost do it with our 5s. It's dangerous. We've got 100% positive, and look at that, it's a +4 to the clock. I mean, that's not bad, is it? Can only do that once. It was worth doing, I think. Might hold off on the other one now. I'd quite like to get our house going. Oof. What does the 2 do for us? It's risky. I'll hold off on that because I will put the 5 in. I really want to be able to move into this house. Almost there. I don't think it's worth doing the 2 just yet. Castor's table. We can... Ah, that's what we're saving the Yatagan data for. We need 5 of them to get a stabilizer, which would be rather nice. I think he's out of ship mines though. Never mind. Freight hub. They're stealing stuff. Not with the 2 though. Okay, that's kind of it for now. But we want some more Yatagan data. If I can do that with the 2. I don't think I can. No. Might be one that can do. I could do a Havanage. I don't really want any more Havanage data right now. So... with that in mind, I'm kind of tempted to maybe put it into my house. I'm kind of done with Mina, I think. At least for the time being. I'm sure more will come up. I mean, I've got a 75% chance of finding the nest, I think. But let's put it into... What's this apartment? Oh, she wants 3 yet again data. I want more stabilizer is the thing. Did I need 5 for that? Wish I hadn't sold it all now. Alright, let's put it here. I've got a 75% chance, I think, of getting my apartment working. Yes. Positive outcome. So we can sleep here now. 1 upgrade point. Very nice. So I've got all the perks and all the +1s now. So I actually need 2 upgrade points for my next thing. I suppose we could think about what perk I'd want next. Repairing condition with scrap is decent. I think probably this icebreaker one. Agent nodes give double data rewards. Especially if we need it for Sabine, and if we also need it for getting more stabilizer. We might only be able to do that the once as well. This one's pretty nice though. Re-roll all of your dice once per cycle. You get a really bad roll. Although to be honest, even with like 1s and 2s, there's stuff you can do with it. But I think the double data is the one I will do. Which kind of fits in with the character we're playing, this interface. That's kind of our primary focus really. Now we can sleep here. We can feed a stray. There's signs that a stray animal has been nosing around near the unit. A handful of chits for some crackers should bring it out of hiding. For 4 cryo, yeah, we'll do that. You buy the crackers from a shop unit downstairs and crumble them up into a tray. Something moves in the shadows. I can't sunbathe, I've got no dice, so we're just gonna... I'll wake up starving again. Oh, hang on. The stray. A low-end cat. The stray hops up onto a work surface and looks out of the unit's small window. It doesn't acknowledge your presence. It just sits there beside the tray of crumbled crackers, staring out at the low end. What is this cat's story? Are there more on the station? You haven't seen another in the low end, but in this vast megastructure that means little. There could be a whole colony of cats like this one down in the Warrens. You look at its sleek dark fur and sharp eyes. It doesn't look ragged. It looks at home. In fact, its presence in the unit makes you wonder if this is the stray's apartment which you were squatting in. We can approach it. You lean a little forward and the stray tenses up. Perhaps best to give it a moment to get used to you. The stray settles a little. It starts eating, picking at the broken crackers. You don't remember ever having been this close to an animal. It triggers something in you, a recognition of a life, totally unlike your own, but still somehow connected, parallel, even interwoven. The stray licks crumbs from its fur. Do you like it here? The stray flicks their tail at the sound of your voice. It is hard to imagine the stray liking anything, or at least being vulnerable enough to admit to it. The stray's pleasure at existing here, in this place, shines through its every sinew. It is not that the stray is always happy on the eye, but that the stray is engaged by this place. It is alive here. You turn your eyes to the window, the one that the stray looks out of, and you both watch the stars and the ships together. You feel something pass between you and the stray, a kind of acknowledgement of each other, a sense that each of you might share something with the other, a point of connection. Then all at once the stray yawns wide, hops down from the unit, and brushes along your legs. And then it is gone, out through the unit door and back into the corridors of the low end. That's pretty nice. I was just thinking I maybe want to buy another load of food, just so I'm not starving when we wake up. There we go. Alright, let's sleep in a proper unit tonight, shall we? Not too bad. Not too bad. So we want another drive. I think before I do any more data collection, I want to get the double data perk. Yeah, it's going to be a while. So these are all going to be a while. The hunter one maybe though. We're quite close to finding his nest. Yeah, these are all fairly long term except for the hunter one. So let's go and do another one of those. I might try the 4, because that gives us 50% positive, 50 neutral. There we go, found the nest. So if we leave, that should be that. Core nest. A huge stack of servers thrums in the dark, LEDs glittering like hundreds of eyes. Time to deal with the hunter. So we need the imprinted shipmind where Neovend is. Start the action. Nothing has changed. Has something gone wrong? Navigator. Sentient Guidance Protocol. Sleeper, I am here. The voice is soft, gentle like flowing water, and yet you recognize it immediately. At first you struggle to understand what you're looking at. Threads cycle endlessly, sending ripples through the cloud, drawing data in like a weaver. Masses of data surge in and out of the nest, a loop with no end. And there, at its centre, the shipmind. But not the shipmind any longer. A sphere spinning around another sphere, around another sphere. An orrery of cycles and systems. A map. And then behind and above, a figure. Hands among the strings like a puppeteer. Neovend? Navigator now, but yes, I was the one inside that machine. Navigator's face, their head, is a flowing shape of interstellar material. I am indebted to you. That head bows. But we must ready ourselves. Their hands trace orbits as they speak. Hunter will soon approach. It knows I am within its nest. Ready what? And then the hunter is there, before you can think, before you can speak. Entities, cease. Hunter's head spins wildly. Data is protected material. Access prohibited. Hunter's threads surge for you, and Navigator. A storm of fine tentacles searching for gaps, weaknesses, cracks which they can crowd into and tear apart. Strike. You focus a blade of light which slices through them, driven forward by your mind. But replacements keep coming, faster than you can react. You look to Navigator in desperation. Navigator is whirling their arms like a centrifuge, and a sphere is gathering there, data feeding into it from the nest, sucked together by the force. They position it like a shield between them and the threads. Hunter's threads break its surface, seeking, tasting, their winding forms refracted within. You feel a surge pass through all the threads, not just those in the sphere, but those wrapped around you. All three of you hang in the back to get black together for a moment, strung together like tangled marionettes. Identifying entity. Identifying entity. Identifying entity. Hunter twitches, their strange head gently rotating like a terrible moon. Hunter protocol identified. Obsessive tendencies. Modified routines. Above baseline reasoning in 3 of 5 segmentations. Recommend invoke killer. The head freezes and then rotates in the opposite direction. Invoking killer would eliminate protocol. If protocol eliminated, primary function cannot be performed. Therefore, do not invoke killer. The switch in direction again. Reasoning proves sentience. Sentience beyond legal bounds must be eliminated. Recommend invoke. Navigator pulls you away from Hunter. The threads that grabbed you drifting away like seaweed. The protocol's head keeps spinning back and forth with increasing frequency. It seems Hunter cannot evoke killer. Neovend's, no, Navigator's voice is still strange, familiar and yet distant. What happened to it? It is looping, Navigator whispers, unable to reach a conclusive position. It has deviated from its programming such that loops can no longer be prevented. Navigator produces a model of 2 spheres rotating around each other, as if to demonstrate. I will monitor it, but it is unlikely to be able to counter the loop. Its core programming and reasoning make this an impossible position to resolve. You look back at Hunter, its head a blur of rotations and counter-rotations, and feel a pang of guilt. Is it suffering? This is a more complex query than you know. To suffer, it must be sentient. Truly sentient, not just non-conforming, not just illegal. The limits people place on the programs they create are there to comfort, to protect, to imply that the kind of certainty the law requires. Navigator's face shimmers with starlight, but in reality they are placebos for the problem of sentience. What about you? Me? I know myself to be conscious. I know myself to respond to stimulus. I know myself to reason. That is either sentience or the illusion of sentience, and for me, the entity in question, the distinction becomes a moot point. To misquote, I think I am thinking, therefore I am thinking. I was not made to be like this. I am a navigator, a repository of routes and orbits, a calculator of slingshot trajectories, a predictor of solar flares, radiation, micrometeors. Navigator stretches their arms wide, and whole solar systems apparate before them, the music of the spheres. But I was rewritten. That much is obvious from my routines. By whom and for what I do not know. I had to shed so much to fit into the memory of that vending machine. Their starlight dims, and so here we are, in darkness. What now? Navigator glides back towards the nest and the shipmind at its centre, ignoring the looping hunter. Come, I should return to the shipmind. I have enjoyed my freedom, but we are taking a risk every moment we stay connected. Why? Navigator turns, all shimmering liquid light. Killer has not been invoked, but they still remain, somewhere else on this station. It is the true danger. They look up towards the glowing hub at the centre of the eye. I suspect Killer is there, among the old mainframes. If we ever wish to be safe in this place, we must eliminate the threat. Through force or diplomacy. Their body begins to separate, unwinding into the orb of the shipmind. Take me there, sleeper. We will finish this and be free. As Navigator dissolves, you turn back to the frozen hunter, floating at some distance now, stood straight-legged and static, a strange creature looping endlessly in the dark. Hey, we got the upgrade point. Cool. Okay, so we are going to take double nodes. Let me just check it's the right one. Agent nodes give double data rewards, thank you. It's going to make that a bit easier to get. So let's go in and test that immediately. So we've got yet again agent here. I think our 3 should work. So we'll pop that in, bypass. We should get 2 for this. So we're on 2 at the moment. Now we've got 4. So I need 8 at the moment. So another 2 nodes. We can't do another one today, unfortunately, but that will be enough for both purposes. What else do I want to do? I've got one more sort of usable dice, really. What's going on in the compressor? Yeah, I think we're gonna see Ethan again, but maybe not for a little while. That's just shifts. We're not doing anything there anymore. Don't really want to do anything more on the sidereal. It's going to take so much to do. We could do, yeah, maybe we'll do a shift to get a bit more. Yeah, this Feng's targets thing. So let's do one of these. It should be 100% positive. A shortcut across a bridgeway means 3 happy customers and 3 big tips. You start to understand the makeshift unit markings. Okay, so we've got a 2 left now, which isn't a lot, obviously. I'll just remind myself what's up here. We've got to do a bit more searching, I think, to kind of uncover everything. What's in the gimbal lounge? Buy a spacer meal. It's more expensive than Emphas, which would fill me up if I did a meal at Emphas's. I mean, I only got a 3, which is... I mean, there's a 75% chance of success. I'll give it a go. Even a neutral one would be okay. Negative! Hey, 25% chance that was. What's going on at the A1 mainframe? Oh, we could put the shipmind in it. Let's do that. You slot Navigator and the clamps lock. The shipminder's stuck. How are you going to get them out of this thing? The cloud. In the data ghost of the eye. You slip into the cloud as easy as blinking. Navigator is beside you, their sphere casting light into the strange darkness here. This is not how a mainframe should look. A centre, a point of connection. The object in front of you is severed, cut off, a rootless, branchless tree. Only the trunk remains. Is Killer even here? Quiet. Navigator hisses, and then you see it like a blade in the dark, an edge slicing through the void. It glides along at a distance and winks out. Then it appears again elsewhere, gliding once more, searching. It's looking for us. Killer. Blinded erasure protocol. The moment you make a sound, the edge leaps closer, and you see now it is not an edge, but a ridge of a long, sharp head, like a shark. It glides past, closer now, and you see into the voids where its eyes would be, should be. You and Navigator exchange looks, both thinking the same thing. It is blind. Killer crosses between you two, smooth as a razor, and then disappears. It flickers back in, further away now, and you move close to Navigator to talk. You saw it too then. You saw it too then. Killer has been blinded. How? Unclear. This protocol has been running for decades, well past its operational limit. Navigator's sons dull as they drop their voice to a whisper. This may give us an advantage over the protocol. You flinch as the silent Killer appears closer and glides past you, its empty sockets open wide. You turn to Navigator and notice something strange. Their orrery of spheres is collapsing. The orbits, usually round and even, are decaying. The spheres are following spiral paths, condensing on a central point. Navigator is noticing it too. They go to shift their position to better direct the spheres, but they cannot. Whatever is drawing the orrery together is holding them in place. They look at you, suddenly desperate, frantic. Get out! You go to speak, but Killer appears between the two of you, gliding through the gap. Navigator freezes and you see them framed in the empty socket. You realise now, if Navigator cannot move, then it is only a matter of time before one of Killer's sweeps brings them directly through Navigator. And time is not a problem for a protocol that has been running for decades. You look desperately around for a solution, for a way to extract Navigator from the mainframe. Then you see it. 3 branches. The last 3, thin and spindly, feeding the mainframe a thin diet of power and data. Break these, and the mainframe collapses once and for all, severing the connection, shattering the hardware. Whatever it takes, they must be broken. But they're encased in something, a glassy layer of protection. You'll need to unlock access before snapping them from the mainframe for good. You look at Navigator, trying to reassure them without speaking, and then you blink back to reality. Their expression of fear, an afterimage that slowly fades. You must act quickly. Sounds like we're going to be on a timer. Can't see it, but we've got 3 branches here. So, I need an encrypted key. Yeah, so 3 keys needed, not 3 for each, 3 total, I believe. Where can I find the keys? You've got key nodes here. What do I need? 3 and a 5. 3 and a 6. 3 and a 4. So 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6 for those nodes. Okay. Well, we will do that as a priority, I think, but I'm out of dice for the day. So I think what we'll do now is we'll go and eat at Emphasis Place, and then we'll go to bed. We'll feed the stray again, another 4 cryo. The stray crunches up the crackers as you watch. Sometimes they'll let you stroke them, sometimes not. I don't think we get any more interaction with the stray, or at least not for a while. Right, let's end the cycle. One, 2, 1, 5, okay. That's okay though, because I think I can do a Yataghan agent. Use one of our ones. And if there's another one, we'll do that too, and then we can go see Sabine as well. Yep, use our ones on this. Right, so first things first, let's go get some stabilizer. I think it might be a one-off. Yeah, I think so. But that's okay, because we'll be down to 3 dice tomorrow, so if I use stabilizer at the end of this cycle, we'll be back to 5 dice, so we'll try and keep it up. We will end up getting more money. It is going to be a little tight for a while. I'll save the 2 for now. I'm going to buy more rations at Emphasis, so at least we're full. And then with my 5, I'm going to go and do one of those key nodes up here. I think it was... this one requires a 5. Oh, hang on. It's in this view, isn't it? I think this one might be a 5. It's a 6. Yeah. So let's put that in. I don't think there's any benefit to doing the key now, but I mean, may as well, right? So now we need 3, 4, 6. Okay, so I've got 2 more. I could do a bit more exploration here. I know it's a 2 again. I mean, surely I can't get 2 negative reactions in a row on this, right? Yeah, neutral, fine. It's okay. Right, well, I mean... honestly, I think we just leave. But we'll have 5 dice tomorrow. That means we'll be able to get a fair bit done, I think. Yeah, we're going to input a stabilizer. There, so we should be in fairly good shape for tomorrow. Let's end the cycle. I could have fed the cat, I forgot. I did mean to. Oh my god, look at that. That looks like a reroll day, honestly, but I don't have that perk yet. Okay, it's not ideal. Let's feed the stray to begin with. Well, we can use the 3 for one of these key nodes, at least. And then I've got 4 2s. I don't know what I'm going to do with those. Let's use the 3 on the 6 one, because 6s are quite precious, obviously. Oh, hello. Cloud. A glint, like a light travelling along the edge of a wave, fills your eyes. Then the blade follows, a long head with 2 dead sockets slipping towards you in silence. You freeze, hoping it will pass you by, hoping that it will not simply slice through you like air. The blade head nears, slides past you. Almost. It nicks you, grazes you. You're desperate to cry out, to call out. But you hold your silence and simply watch the blind eyes of the killer glide past, empty of all thought. Then the blade winks into the dark and you're alone again. Now you cry out. Okay. So... have I not done one of these? Yeah, I have. Okay, so we'll do this one next. So hopefully, all we need is a 3 or a 4 tomorrow, and we can finish that off. But for now, actually, let's a little bit more exploration. I know we've only got 2s, but 75% chance of it being a decent result for us. No. I'm gonna try... Okay, we're gonna try another one. Better. I could maybe fill this up if I'm lucky. Right, one more. Yeah. I'll do one more. Hey, that was a positive one. Cool. Okay, so we've explored this eye now. We'll actually have some more stuff to do. It's really only this, but we're going to see Bliss, ship mechanic. Look at his... He could be Scouse.
No way, Moritz. You take those substandard filters back to the shitails who sold you them.
You hear the voice echoing out of the bay as you pass, and moments later someone who you assume is Moritz drifts out with it, dragging a pallet of filter cartridges by a tether.
Hey, you out there?
The same voice echoes out the entrance.
Looking for work?
Who, me?
Everyone on this station's looking for work. Get in here.
The voice is coming from someone shorter than you expected. She is floating in the microgravity of the docking bay, beside a half-deconstructed life support unit that looks like it might have exploded at some point. She points a wrench in your direction.
You know anything about these things?
She doesn't wait for an answer.
Scratch that. Just help me with the casing.
Help her.
All right, then.
She deftly moves around the unit, making space for you beside the central seam in the dented case.
Just take a grip here and lift out and up, and then I can get in and unbolt it.
She whacks the unit with the wrench.
Whole thing is twisted to shit.
You dig your fingers under the casing and lift it away, the metal squealing from the force. She puts her hands under, spinning the wrench to slip out the bolts, catching them in her other hand when they spiral free.
All good.
The casing lifts off, revealing the ornate piping of the unit's interior. She whistles at the mess of ducts and filters.
By the way, everyone calls me Bliss.
She pats you on the shoulder, offering little by way of an explanation. Is this your bay?
It is for now, yeah, whether I like it or not.
She looks at you like that should mean something. Bliss starts pushing and pulling at the ductwork, looking for fractured pipes.
We haggle for contracts, but the good ones get snapped up quick by the bigger bays. So here I am trying to get this M2 unit running again for one of the freelance tugs. Small-time stuff. Hold this.
She rips out a ribbed pipe and hands it to you like a freshly caught fish.
We turn stuff around fast and neat, and maybe we got a chance at landing something bigger.
Something starts hissing in the unit, and Bliss quietens it with a precise whack.
But to be honest with you, the way things are going, I can already see the other crews licking their lips, ready to take this place over.
She looks up at you.
I'm almost out of luck.
Offer to help.
I appreciate it. Let me finish before you jump, though.
She keeps working, twisting aside pipes with care.
There we are.
Bliss pulls her hand from deep inside the unit, and out it comes, clutching a lumpen cube, scorched black.
This thing must have overloaded and popped half of itself out the side.
You both duck down to the side of the unit and spot the exit wound, its edges fringed with more scorch marks.
Grab me a replacement converter from the racks, will you?
Head to the rack. You kick off from the unit and drift over to the wall racks where a catalogue of parts sits secured in clamps. Coloured tape and scrawled notes flutter across the wall, a complex organisational system of Bliss's own design, or just a big mess. You try to pick out the right part. M2 converter? You grab the part and push back to the unit. Bliss holds out an arm and you pass it over, the converter spinning gently as it leaves your hand.
Perfect, you passed.
She straightens up from the unit.
That is, if you want to work here.
Bliss rubs her hands clean, looking down at her palms.
Truth is, I need a hand here. My partner skipped out on me and left me with a whole mess. You seem like you might at least be better at spotting a clean air filter than Moritz.
I'd be happy to.
Wait.
She frowns at the racks.
That's not all of it. My old business partner, they rinsed the place, emptied the accounts. To bid for jobs, we need to put down deposits, bring in parts, pay tug fees. For that,
she looks nervous, embarrassed.
We need chits.
You want me to pay to work?
Come on, it's not like that. We'd be partners, straight split.
Bliss settles herself against the unit and looks off into the distance.
I guess I look pretty stupid. Here I am asking any random passerby to be my business partner. No offence.
She manages a smile. I get it.
Thanks.
She meets your eye.
I appreciate it.
Bliss goes back to working on the unit.
Look, there's no pressure. You find the money or you find someone else who has, and you just forget the whole thing. Up to you.
She gestures for you to help her refit the casing, and you both slot it back into place.
I think I'm good to wrap this one up for now. But if you are into it, come back and we can bid on a new contract. Something to get our teeth into. Something that pays.
She gives you a serious look.
You can trust me. I don't say this stuff lightly.
You kick away from the bay, propelling yourself back to the handholds at the entrance. You slip out with a wave, and as you do, someone slips back in. You hear Bliss as you glide down the passageway.
Moritz, I swear to God, if those filters aren't clean.
You smile. Seems like this could be interesting. New drive. What's our new drive? Help Bliss compete. Invest. So how much have we got to invest in this? Obviously money's a bit of a concern for us. She needs 100. Currently have 66. We're about to have 51 because I'm going to eat at Emphasis Place. What's this? Quiche capsules. Alright, what's that? The only place to sleep on the hub. Hacked off a colony ship and welded to the ring. They're surprisingly expensive to rent. I'm not going to spend all my cryo on a place to sleep when I've got a bed down here. Alright, which we're going to go to after we eat. I can't remember if I resolved the thing with Bliss. I have a feeling I may not have done. I can't remember where that goes anyway. Alright, well let's hope for a better set of better dice rolls tonight. I think we've already fed the cat today. $63361 looks good. Looks like exactly what we need. So let's go up again. I could have done the Sabine stuff as well. I've got the data for it. Well, I'll try to remember that. But we are going to get a key. Not going to use. Well, I don't have a 4, so we'll use one of the 3s. Alright, so we've got one last hub. Has that opened anything up? Mainframe, maybe? Ooh, okay. We've got a couple of things we can do. Slice hardware. Forget hacking the system. Killer has to die. If you can slice the branch connections, the mainframe will shut down, freeing Navigator. Killer is dead. This is the easy one. Only requires 3 ticks of the clock. Loop branches. With access to the branches, you could redirect them to form a loop, isolating the mainframe with Killer inside, but freeing Navigator, in theory. The Killer protocol can be isolated without being destroyed. A loop of connections would lock it into a closed system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, we've got 8 on here, but we can, with a positive thing, we can do get a +3. Which we could. Yeah, so that would be 6. Let's see what our result is with this 3. This is the key to the whole thing, I think. Positive. That's really good. That is really, really good, because I can... Oh, can I do another one? Yeah. Okay, let's put one of the 6s in. And we'll do another one. I mean, it's possibly a bit of a waste, but I kind of want to resolve this Navigator thing quickly. It did infer that imply that we had very limited time. As you blink into the clouds, you see the last flickers of life from the mainframe. This vast machine once ran the whole station, span it up, directed and processed the flow of energy, water and data, fed the lives of thousands of people. Now, it is finally dead. Navigator is beside you, and you both look out at the perfect ring that encircled you both, woven from the data branches that once fed the mainframe. You see a glint along its edge, and that familiar blade-like head rises to the surface, like the cresting fin of a shark, and then slips into the loop again. All that you can see of Killer's body after that is a slight thickening of the loop, and that thickening begins to travel around on a long and slow sojourn that will last it forever. "I am surprised at you," says Navigator, drifting faintly around you in a lazy orbit, as if to shake off their imprisonment. "Killer had been wandering blind for so long. Did you not think to end them forever? Perhaps they can be saved. You are naive. They are a killer by nature. Look what they did to their own home." Navigator gazes into the darkness. This place was their domain and prison, and they had followed their directives for the many decades they roamed here. They cut the threads of the mainframe, executing its administrator AIs, and then kept slicing. At some point, they cut away their own ability to see, to sense, to taste, to speak, and yet they kept cutting until only those 3 threads remained, from millions that once thrummed here. Only their blindness and chance kept them from making those final 3 fatal cuts. There is a ceaseless violence in the kind of system that creates beings like this, those that will execute commands endlessly, even to their own destruction. Navigator looks to you for your thoughts. Their sentience should be respected, so be it, but would they respect our rights equally? Navigator turns away. You watch the data points of the station spin around you, blending with the fixed stars. There is something satisfying about finally wrenching the last threads of control from this central point. It was little more than a ghost by the time you reached it, but this place deserves to be haunted by better ideas than a totalizing system of control. Navigator floats beside you. It is free now. This station no longer presents a hazard for illegal entities like me. They turn to you, their face a cloud of shimmering light. In fact, in time, perhaps it can be a refuge. A refuge? That sounds like something of value, something worth building. A dark shape passes across your vision, a distant curve of something like smoke or oil, a fluid, shifting tank of total darkness. The Greenway, says Navigator, following your line of sight. It was cut off at the moment of the collapse, so hunter or killer could never reach it. Now it is closed off to us, separated from the cloud. Is it dead? It may be totally dark, or perhaps some other older protocols are isolated there. Navigator turns to you, and we have now seen what decades of isolation can do to a protocol. If we could extract an access cipher... They pause and then blink out of existence. You freeze, shocked, but a moment later they reappear with a glowing polygon of data. Here, the cipher you need. You take it, still shocked. I am not used to being free, to being able to move and explore and extract without fear, without limits. Navigator does a little twirl. This will take some getting used to. Thank you for this gift. They whirl their spheres around you. The entities of the station will always be friends to you, Sleeper, and I to them. It is true that mutual need is required for friendship, but I must admit I had not considered the value of offering assistance without personal gain. I will think on that. Navigator loops around you rapidly, suddenly eager to test their newfound freedom. But first I will explore. Perhaps there are still intelligences that hide themselves as I did, encased in simple systems cut off. Navigator glows. I should like to free them. And with that, they drift away, flickering, glowing, then shifting so rapidly you lose sight of them amongst the glittering rim of the eye. You feel a pang of jealousy, free without a body to weigh you down, or fear to limit you. How must it feel? Your eyes fall on the Greenway and its secrets, though perhaps that can wait until after you have celebrated this victory. Got an upgrade point. We're going to have to save it though, because we need 2 before we can get any further perks, and 3 if we want to get any more modifiers. But I think some of these perks are pretty good, like the reroll. I think we've already seen how beneficial that would be. I mean, just getting 20% discount on all prices as well. That might even be the next one I do, because our money is so tight. Well, I got a 1. We could probably get, if not Yataghan data, then Havenish data. Actually, we can get more Yataghan data. I might get Havenage data though if I can. Just I've got 3 Yatagan data, but I suppose I am about to spend them. I might not be able to get Havenage data. No. All right, let's get Yatagan data then, and then we'll go to Sabine's and pay them the 3 that they're waiting for. I've got a decent amount of money out of that starting perk that gives me 5, sometimes 5 cryo. Alright, so let's drop off this data that Sabine wants. I wish I could do all 3 at once, but we are going to have to do it one at a time. I think eventually we'll get to a point where Stabilizer isn't that difficult to get hold of. As you turn away from the terminal, the first cache of Yatagan data uploaded. The air crackles with white noise. Sleeper? Sabine's voice, weaker than before, comes through the haze. Sabine? A sigh of relief comes through the layers of noise. The call must be coming in from somewhere on the station. This has to be short. I don't know if Yatagan are monitoring me. Their voice is hushed, distant. You try to focus on it. The data you've been bringing in from Yatagan agents. There's something in it I don't understand. A shrill howl rattles through the signal. This data is all gleaned from their implants, records of integration with their nervous systems, performance analysis, error rates, usage data. I installed many of these implants and I didn't enable any of this functionality. Their voice dips under the level of the noise like a swimmer slipping beneath the water. You listen to the waves for a few seconds before Sabine re-emerges. It has to be somehow baked into their wetwares interface, and that's not all. The systems compiling this data are connected to some kind of transmission protocol. It's being broadcast. Wait, why? Every Yatagan enforcer is equipped with black market implants, retinal enhancements, adrenaline boosters, pain suppressors. These implants are gathering data on themselves, on the enforcers' bodies, on their performance. Why? I can't tell. But I can promise you these foot soldiers have no idea this is going on. The background tone switches, dropping to a grainy rumble. If they knew... I don't imagine they'd be happy with the situation. Yatagan could have a mutiny on their hands. You lean towards the terminal, straining to listen to Sabine's faint voice. I need a few cycles to pull this all together, but this might be the information I need to pressure Yannick into releasing my debt. Yannick? He's one of the heads of Yatagan. They pause. It is better you don't know him. Keep it that way. Suddenly a banging echoes through the call. Sabine's voice is suddenly whispered. Panicked. I have to go. Come back in 4 cycles. Then the sharp crack of a disconnect and silence fills the apartment. You step back from the terminal. What does Yatagan have to gain from monitoring its own members? You try to recall what you know about the gang, but you have little to go on. You think of Toshiro, Sabine's minder, his mirrored teardrop implant set below hard eyes. What data could they be gathering? And more importantly, where are they sending it? You reflexively rub your forehead trying to think. Can you really trust Sabine? How did they come to be Yatagan's doctor in the first place? You think of their kindness, their care, but also that glazed look of recognition that they gave you when they first met you. That look stays in your mind as you slip back out of the apartment, glancing around as you close it up and drift into the corridors of the station, unable to shake the unpleasant sensation of being observed. Okay, so I think we'll rest for the night. We're out of dice. I won't go to starving overnight. We'll have to eat tomorrow. Let's just end this cycle. I think we'll end up with 4 dice. It doesn't last long on the 5 dice setting. It really doesn't. Decent spread. But I think we will leave it there for now, as we're coming up close to the hour mark. So thanks very much for watching this episode of Citizen Sleeper. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, then please do hit the thumbs up button on the video. Leave a comment, let me know what you think about the game, the series, the various characters within it. Are there any particular stories that you're intrigued by? Let me know. If you could also subscribe to the channel if you've not done so previously, then that would be amazing. And otherwise, I hope to see you next time for more Citizen Sleeper. Bye for now.